Hey everyone, this is Dave here, back with another look at Skyrim Special Edition. So this latest version of Skyrim is a considerable upgrade over the last gen versions, boasting new lighting, effects work and upgraded assets. It's definitely worth a look for fans who enjoyed the last gen versions of the game, but ultimately want more stable performance and improved graphical quality. But with that being said, just what is the best way to play the Special Edition? So to kick things off, here's a look at the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions. And yeah, immediately the first thing you'll note is just how close of a presentation we're actually looking at. Both versions run natively in 1080p and utilise the same form of temporal post-process anti-aliasing, which actually produces some pretty decent image quality. The game definitely takes on a more soft look compared to the original, but at the same time jaggies and shimmering have been virtually eliminated, giving it a very clean appearance. Now with Fallout 4 we actually saw a dynamic resolution applied to the Xbox One version of the game, and in some scenes pixel counts did drop down to around 900p. Based on the first hour of play with the Special Edition, we don't see the same thing happening here. That's not to say that a dynamic resolution system isn't in place, but based on an early segment of gameplay, well, we didn't notice it kicking in. Overall, both versions are actually comparable from a visual perspective. Note that a high level of anisotropic filtering is deployed across both versions, and that's great to see. In the past we've actually seen a lot of PS4 games operate using lower trilinear filtering, resulting in blurry ground textures or assets when viewed from oblique angles. Thankfully that's not the case here. We're looking at basically the same presentation on both consoles with other variances due to dynamic time of day, and that pretty much holds true for performance as well. Bethesda are targeting a 30fps update for this special edition, and for the most part we actually see pretty solid frame rates throughout. There are some mild stutters though that occur on both platforms, which are caused by 1 to 2 FPS drops from time to time, but it's not a major issue and it doesn't affect gameplay in any way. That said, they do appear noticeable when there's lateral movement such as moving the camera around, so hopefully we'll see this addressed in a future patch. But overall performance is a massive step up from the last gen versions of the game, and a lot of players will be happy. Of course the lack of a 60fps update is perhaps disappointing for something of a remaster, but at the same time it's understandable. There's a lot of legacy baggage attached with Bethesda's creation engine, and a lot of the game's systems are CPU bound too. However, if you do want to play the Special Edition at 60 frames per second, then you can do that on the PC, and the experience is improved considerably as a result. In particular, combat feels more responsive and the general fluidity is increased. Along with the ability to run the game at resolutions greater than 1080p, those are pretty much the biggest benefits the PC version offers. Though if you look closely, there are a few refinements in other areas. Take draw distances for example. Foliage and other objects in the game world are culled a little more aggressively on consoles, so you can see an increase in the amount of plants and tufts of grass on the PC at long range. And of course when moving closer to these objects, pop-up is less visible as well. Shadow quality is another area that gets a small boost. Now this aspect of the game is actually rather good on consoles, with shadows maintaining a soft but rather clean look. On PC these elements feature slightly sharper edges, but ultimately still appear pretty smooth and natural. It's a subtle improvement, but one that will nevertheless benefit gamers running the game at ultra high resolution such as 1440p or even 4K. Outside of that though, there isn't really that much more of an upgrade. Volumetric lighting gets a slight boost in a sense that the light shafts take on a slightly higher level of glow compared to say the Xbox One version and PS4, but ultimately that's about it. The core assets and the effects work in other areas are basically the same as on the console builds. And it's also worth pointing out that the PC version's top temporal anti-aliasing solution is also closely resembles that of the console versions, so we get nice smooth image quality with minimal artifacts even at 1080p. The downside is the game does look a little softer than expected for a native presentation, but on the flip side it's less of an issue once we move up to higher resolutions. So with that being said, what is the best way to play the Special Edition then? Well, naturally, as to be expected, if you have a decent gaming rig, then the PC version allows you to play at 60 frames per second and of course take advantage of higher resolutions in 1080p too, and that provides the best experience of the three by far. That said, the console versions are still excellent and provide a massive upgrade over the 360 and PS3 editions. Out of the two, there really isn't much in it, and for most people you're effectively looking at an identical release on both sides. So if you prefer to play on PlayStation 4, then that's the version you should pick up, and likewise if you're primarily an Xbox One gamer, then that version comes equally recommended. However, if you're someone that likes to tinker with your game and indulge in the mod scene, then the choice is clear. The Xbox One version actually delivers a better experience. Not only can we have a larger number of mods installed on the system, we can also have one that uses customized assets not originally in the game, whereas PS4 owners are limited to mods using pre-existing assets alone. Anyway, that's about it. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoy our videos, and remember to subscribe to support Digital Foundry. That will really help us out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.